Welcome back to Coin Hunter USA, your premier destination for uncovering the hidden history and the massive value hiding in your everyday pocket change. I am your host, and today we are going on a journey back to the turn of the millennium. The year was 2000, a golden era for the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program. In this special episode of Coin Hunter USA, we are putting the spotlight on two of the most iconic designs ever minted in the 25-cent series. First, we will scale the heights of the White Mountains as we examine the 2000 New Hampshire State Quarter. This coin features the legendary Old Man of the Mountain. But did you know this stone profile no longer exists in nature? It collapsed in 2003, making this 2000-dated coin a permanent historical monument in your hand. We will look for the rare errors and high-grade specimens that make this old man worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Next, we set sail for the shores of the Atlantic to look at the 2000 Virginia State Quarter. This beautiful design commemorates the 400th anniversary of the founding of Jamestown. It features the three legendary ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. If you look closely at the word Virginia and the intricate rigging of these ships, you might find the treasure we are hunting for today. But before we dive into the microscopic details of these two masterpieces, I have a quick mission for you. We are building a massive community of hunters here at Coin Hunter USA, and we want you to be part of every discovery. So, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button right now. Click the notification bell so you are the first to know when we find a rarity. Your subscription helps us keep the hunt alive. Are you ready to see if you have a 2000 New Hampshire or a Virginia quarter that could be worth hundreds of dollars? Grab your magnifying glass, get your coin albums ready, and let's start the hunt. This is Coin Hunter USA, and the journey into the year 2000 begins right now. Architect, the man who changed history. The mind behind the coin, Michael Newbold Castle. The journey of the 2000 Virginia quarter begins not in a mint, but in the mind of Congressman Michael Newbold Castle. At that time, he was the chairman of the House Banking Subcommittee on Domestic and International Monetary Policy. Why could he change the money of the world's superpower? Because he saw that American coins had become stale since 1976. He believed coins are a human connection to the past. He authored Public Law 105 to 124. Why did he think of this? America was entering the new millennium, year 2000. The struggle, the U.S. Treasury was against him. They thought it was too expensive. But Castle used his rank and insisted that coins must tell a story. He won, and the 50 State Quarters program was born. The obverse, front the anatomy of George Washington. The human connection, who is on the front? On the front, we see George Washington, the first president. But this is not just a picture, it is a legal seal of liberty. The artist, John Flanagan, the original designer. Who was he? A legendary sculptor from New York. The choice. He was chosen in 1932 because his design was heroic. The secret of the hair. You asked why his hair is long. In the 18th century, long hair was a sign of high military rank and aristocracy. Flanagan kept the hair long to show Washington's status as a gentleman general. The 2000 modification. In 2000, William Cousins, another artist, had to shrink Flanagan design slightly to fit the new words. The words on the front, breaking the code. United States of America. This is the sovereignty claim. Liberty, 7 letters. It means freedom from tyranny. In God we trust, 12 letters. The official motto of the USA. $0.25, 13 letters. It means 1/4 of a dollar. The I mark stands for Denver Mint. It means this coin was born in Colorado. The reverse, back the mystery of the 3 ships. The decision maker, Governor James S. Gilmore III. The back design was chosen by Governor James S. Gilmore III. He formed a commission and looked at 3,000 rejected designs. Why the ships? He chose the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery. These ships represent the human spirit. They brought the first 104 settlers to Jamestown in 1607. Jamestown 1607 to 2007. Why 2007 on a 2000 coin? It was an invitation card for the 400th anniversary, quadricentennial. The hidden details of the ships. The pillars, masts on the largest ship, you can see 3 main masts. The rigging, look at the lines hanging in the air. These were engraved by Edgar Z. Stever. He drew every single rope to show the technical complexity of 17th century travel. The ocean, look at the bottom. Those are not just lines. They are the waves of the Atlantic Ocean, representing the bridge between Europe and America. Technical industry and composition, the metal secrets. Is it silver? The 1965 secret. Many people think this is silver. It is not. The weight, exactly 5.67 grams. The diameter, exactly 24.26 millimeters. The thickness, 1.75 millimeters. The composition, it is a clad coin. A sandwich of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Why this size and weight? The mint director and Congress wanted it to fit every vending machine in the world. The 119 lines, the reeds. Count them. There are 119 vertical lines on the edge. To prevent people from shaving the edges, an old criminal trick. To help the blind identify the coin by touch. The mystery of e pluribus unum. E, out of. Pluribus, many. Unum, one. It means, out of 50 states, we are one nation. It was placed there by the Secretary of the Treasury to maintain the legal dignity of the coin. The valuation and professional network. Why is your coin worth money? This coin was born in the year 2000, the start of the millennium. PCs and indices, these are the judges. If they find a coin with no scratches, they grade it MS-68. Such a coin can sell for $500. The heritage auctions. This is where the biggest collectors in the world, the network, bid on these coins. The 2000 era. In 2000, America was booming. The quality of the minting machines was at its peak. This makes the Virginia quarter one of the shiniest in history. But before we end, remember this. While millions of these coins are common, there is a legendary 2000D Virginia quarter in a near-perfect mint state that can command a staggering value of up to $15,000 to $20,000 at high-end auctions. Even a tiny hidden error on those ships could turn your 25-cent change into a life-changing fortune. So, the question is, are you holding a simple piece of metal, or are you sitting on a hidden jackpot? Check your pockets, watch closely, and never stop the hunt. This is Coin Hunter USA. To understand why the quarters in your hand are so significant, we must travel back to a very specific moment in human history. The year 2000. This wasn't just a new year, it was the new millennium. A 1,000-year shift that captured the entire world's imagination. The celebration and the chaos. In the year 2000, the atmosphere in the United States was a unique blend of high-tech excitement and deep historical reflection. The world was celebrating the future. We had the Y2K computer scare, the rise of the internet, and a global party that stretched from the streets of New York to the hills of California. Who orchestrated this celebration? The Millennium celebrations were officially coordinated by the White House Millennium Council, established by President Bill Clinton and First Lady Hillary Clinton. Their theme was, "Honor the past, imagine the future." The intent behind the coins. It was within this specific millennium fever that the coins of 2000 were born. While the world was looking at digital screens, the U.S. Mint, under the direction of Philip N. Deal, wanted to give the people something physical to hold on to. They released the 2000 quarters, including the Virginia and New Hampshire designs, as a way to anchor the American people. The purpose was to ensure that in an age of rapid technology, the foundational stories of the nation weren't forgotten. These coins were designed to be the first millennium artifacts, currency that would last for 100 years, carrying the spirit of the year 2000 into the distant future. Now, let's look at the second major pillar of this story, the 50-state quarters program. This was not just a simple change in design. It was the most successful coin program in the history of the world. But why was it started? What was the true mission? The architect of the program. The program was the brainchild of Philip N. Deal, director of the Mint, and Congressman Michael Castle. For decades, the quarters design had been the same. It was static. It was boring. Deal and Castle realized that the U.S. Mint was missing a massive opportunity to connect with the citizens. The three core purposes of the program. 1. The educational revolution, the pocket museum. The primary purpose was education. Philip Deal famously said he wanted to create a museum in every pocket. Before this, many Americans didn't know the unique history of states like New Hampshire or the naval significance of Virginia. By putting history on the most used coin in the country, the government turned every transaction, buying a coffee or a newspaper, into a history lesson. It forced parents to talk to their children about the symbols on the back of the coins. 2. The economic masterstroke, seigniorage. There was a brilliant financial purpose behind this. It costs the mint only about 5 cents to make a quarter. When the government sells that quarter to the public for 25 cents, they make a 20-cent profit. This profit is called seigniorage. Because these coins were so beautiful and historical, millions of people stopped spending them and started collecting them in jars and maps. This meant billions of dollars in lost quarters were essentially pure profit for the U.S. Treasury, helping to fund the government without raising taxes. 3. National unity through democracy. Perhaps the most important purpose was democracy in design. For the first time, the Mint didn't choose the design. The governors and the people of each state chose the design. This gave every state a sense of pride. It turned a piece of metal into a symbol of state identity. In the year 2000, as the world became more globalized, these coins helped Americans remember their local roots and the diverse stories that made the nation whole. So, when you see a 2000-dated quarter, remember the atmosphere of the millennium. Remember the vision of Philip Deal and Michael Castle. These coins weren't made just to be spent. They were made to teach, to earn, and to unite. They are the survivors of the year 2000, and they are waiting for you to discover their secrets. When you look at a U.S. quarter, you aren't just looking at money, you are looking at the face of a man who changed the course of world history. This is George Washington. But why is he called the father of his country? George Washington was the commander-in-chief who led a ragtag group of colonies to victory against the most powerful empire on earth. When the war ended, he did something no leader had ever done. He gave up his power and went home. But his country needed him again. He became the first president of the United States. He refused to be a king, choosing instead to be a citizen servant. This is why he is the father. he laid the foundation for democracy itself. The 1932 milestone. For a long time, U.S. coins featured the Lady Liberty. But in 1932, to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, the U.S. Mint decided to immortalize him on the quarter. Since that year, his profile has stood as a symbol of American stability and strength. The portrait we see today is a masterpiece born from two different eras. The original designer, John Flanagan. In 1932, a sculptor named John Flanagan won a national competition. His design was based on a famous bust of Washington by the French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon. Flanagan's goal was to capture Washington's legendary stoicism, the sharp jaw, the steady eye, and the military posture. The 1999 update, William Cousins. As we approached the new millennium, the 50-state quarters program required a change. Because the back of the coin was getting complex new designs, the U.S. Mint needed to move text to the front. Enter William Cousins. Cousins was a mint engraver who had to update Flanagan's 70-year-old design. He slightly reduced the size of Washington's head and added finer detail to the hair and face. If you look at a 2000 quarter, you are seeing the combined work of two great artists, the structural power of Flanagan and the technical precision of William Cousins. Now, let's talk about the most fascinating detail on this coin, one that surprises almost every viewer. The hair. The great myth. Many people look at the curls and the ribbon at the back and think, oh, Washington is wearing a wig. In the 1700s, wigs were indeed a sign of wealth. But here is the truth that makes this coin special. George Washington never wore a wig. The soldier's style. The hair you see on the coin is Washington's natural hair. He took great pride in it. He grew it very long and tied it back into a queue, a 18th century ponytail, secured with a simple silk ribbon. The powder secret. The reason it looks so formal in paintings and on this coin is that Washington used white powder, made of scented starch, to coat his hair. He didn't want the artificial look of a wig, he wanted the natural texture of his own hair, just groomed to perfection. On the quarter, the deep lines and rolls you see are Flanagan's way of showing the military discipline of a man who cared about every detail of his appearance. Finally, let's look at the text. There are exactly 5 main phrases or words inscribed on the front of this coin. Let's break down exactly what they mean and why they are there. United States of America, 4 words * united, joined together as one. States, individual political lands. Of America, the name of the continent. This is the legal title of the nation, placed at the top to show ultimate authority. Liberty, 1 word. This word sits directly in front of Washington's face. It means freedom, the right to live your life without a king or an oppressor telling you what to do. It is the reason Washington fought the Revolution. In God we trust, 4 words. This is the official motto of the United States. It was first used during the Civil War and became the national motto in 1956. It represents the spiritual foundation of the American people. $quarter, 2 words. This is the value. A quarter is 1/4 of a dollar, or 25 cents. It tells the world exactly what this piece of metal is worth in trade. The mint mark, P, D, or S. Look for a tiny letter near the hair. For Philadelphia, for Denver, or for San Francisco. This is the birth certificate of the coin. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the New Hampshire quarter. The design you see here is one of the most emotional in American history. The image, the Old Man of the Mountain. The central image is a massive natural rock formation known as the Old Man of the Mountain. For centuries, this granite profile sat 1,200 feet above Profile Lake. To the people of New Hampshire, it wasn't just a rock, it was a symbol of their rugged, independent character. The creator, William Cousins. This reverse side was designed by William Cousins. He worked closely with the citizens of New Hampshire to ensure the old man looked exactly right. However, there is a sad twist. In 2003, just 3 years after this coin was released, the rock formation naturally collapsed. This coin is now the only way many people will ever see this lost piece of history. Word-by-word meaning. New Hampshire, the name of the state, honoring its roots in Hampshire, England. 1788. This is the year New Hampshire ratified the U.S. Constitution, becoming the 9th state. Live free or die. This is the official state motto. It was written by General John Stark during the Revolutionary War. It means that living without freedom is worse than death itself. 2000. The year the coin was minted. E pluribus unum. 3 words, a Latin phrase meaning out of many one. It refers to the many states joining to form one single nation. The 9 stars. You will notice 9 stars flanking the design. These are not random. They represent New Hampshire's status as the 9th state to join the Union. Next, we move to the Virginia quarter, a coin that celebrates the very beginning of the American story. The image, the 3 ships. The back of this coin features 3 legendary ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. These were the ships that carried the first English settlers across the Atlantic to found Jamestown in 1607. The creator, John Mercanti. This masterpiece was designed by the legendary John Mercanti, the 12th chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Mercanti is famous for his incredible detail. If you look closely at the ships, you can see the rigging and the sails perfectly etched into the metal. Word-by-word meaning. Virginia, named after Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. 1788. The year Virginia officially became the 10th state of the Union. Jamestown 1607 to 2007. This marks the 400th anniversary, quadricentennial, of the first permanent English settlement in America. E pluribus unum. Again, the Latin motto, out of many, one. 2000. The year this millennium coin was struck. The symbolism. The ships are sailing toward the right, symbolizing progress, courage, and the movement toward a new world. Virginia is known as the mother of presidents, and this design honors the naval roots that made that possible. Finally, let's look at the physical build of the backside. The reeds, the lines on the edge. There are 119 vertical lines on the edge of every quarter. Why 119? It's a standard set by the mint. Originally, these were put there to prevent people from clipping or shaving off silver from the edges. Today, it helps you identify the coin in your pocket without looking at it. The border. Notice the raised rim around the edge. This is called the design rim. It is built slightly higher than the rest of the coin to protect the images from wearing down too quickly as the coin slides across tables and into machines. The finish. These 2000 quarters have a specific luster or shine because they were produced at the height of the mint's millennium production using highly polished steel dies. Whether it's the fallen old man of the North or the sailing ships of the South, the back of a 2000 quarter is a history book made of copper and nickel. These designs were chosen by the people, for the people, to ensure that the stories of 1607 and 1788 live on in the year 2026 and beyond. Don't just spend your change, study it. You might be holding a masterpiece. This is Coin Hunter USA. Let's talk numbers. The most common question every collector asks is, how much is my coin worth? If you find a 2000 Virginia or New Hampshire quarter in your daily pocket change, and it looks dull, scratched, or dirty, its value is exactly 25 cents, 25 cents. Because the U.S. Mint produced over 1.5 billion of these coins in the year 2000, they are not rare in common condition. They are worth their face value, the price printed on the coin. However, if you have a coin that has never been spent, a coin that still has its original mint luster or shine, the price starts to climb. Uncirculated coins, a 2000 quarter in beautiful, gem condition can sell to collectors for $1 to $5. Proof sets. If you have the S Mint Mark San Francisco version, which is made specifically for collectors with a mirror-like finish, these can be worth $5 to $10 depending on the state. Now, we enter the world of high-stakes auctions. This is where the real money is made. Collectors use a scale from 1 to 70 to grade coins. A coin graded as MS 68, Mint State 68, or higher is incredibly rare. The Virginia record, a 2000p Virginia quarter in a perfect MS 68 grade has sold at auction for over $400. The New Hampshire record, A high-grade New Hampshire specimen can command between $350 and $600. If you find a coin that is graded MS-69, you are looking at a prize worth over $1,500 because almost no coins survive in that perfect condition. This is the holy grail for every coin hunter. Minting errors. When the machines at the US Mint make a mistake, they create a fortune for you. Die breaks and double dies. If the image is stamped twice or has extra metal blobs, called cuds, the value can jump to $500 to $1,000. Wrong planchets. Occasionally, a 2000 quarter is accidentally struck on a different metal blank, like a penny or nickel blank. These are masterpiece errors and can sell for $3,000 to $5,000. The $15,000 mystery. The highest recorded prices for 2000 series quarters usually involve rare mule errors, where the front of one coin is paired with the back of another. While extremely rare, these have reached staggering prices of $15,000 to $20,000 in major heritage auctions. Here is a vital warning for all hunters: never clean your coins. If you think you have a $500 coin and you try to wash it or scrub it with chemicals, you will destroy its original surface. A cleaned coin loses 90% of its collector value instantly. Always keep it in the condition you found it and put it in a protective plastic holder.